Power of Music by Sukumar Ray. When summer comes, we hear the hums, Bhishma Lochan Sharma. You catch his train on hill and plain, from Delhi down to Burma. He sings as though he has staked his life, he sings as though he is hell-bent. So here in the opening lines, the speaker introduces us to Bhishma Lochan Sharma, who is a singer and has a very loud and powerful voice, and he keeps humming when it's summer season, and he does it very loudly as to being quite unpleasant for the listeners. And his voice can be heard, his songs can be heard during only the summer season, from hills to plains, from Delhi to Burma, means in all directions. It's so loud. And he sings as if he has risked his life, as if he has put his whole life at stake, and he is determined to sing regardless of what might happen, as if he does not sing, he would die. And he sings, not wary of what might befall on his way, and continues singing. The people dazed retire amazed, although they know it's well meant. They are trampled in the panic rout, or languish pale and sickly, and plead, my friend, we are near our end. Oh, stop your singing quickly. The bullock carts are overturned, and the horses line the roadside. So the passers-by are awestruck at his ability or talent. In a humorous manner, the speaker has meant it to be a talent, because it's such a talent as to disturb anybody and everybody who comes across him. And they get trampled in panic, in a stampede, and get into a frenzy, that is rout. So they get disoriented. They run about in such a frenzy as if trying to escape in any direction away from the strain of his song. And they plead him to stop immediately, or else they will die. So though his intentions are good, he wants to sing a melodious tune, but his powerful singing causes only chaos and havoc wherever it goes. Carts overturn, so the animals even can't take it, and they are so shocked and surprised that they can't move in a proper direction and even overturn their own carts. And the horses, they don't walk, but they stand amazed and dazed along the roadside in a straight line. So even the animals are left confused and frightened by his booming voice. Thus, not just the human beings, but even the animals are awestruck by his disruptive voice, and they just want him to stop in any manner. Bhishma Lochan, unconcerned, goes booming out his broadside. The wretched brutes resent the blare the hour they hear it sounded. They whine and stare with feet in air, or wonder quite confounded. The fishes dived below the lake in frantic search for silence. The very trees collapse and shake, you hear the crash a mile hence. And in the sky the feathered fly turn turtle while they are winging. But Bhishma Lochan does not give any heed to the pleas and cries around, and even the heavens seem to weep at such a screeching voice, and the mighty mansions seem to collapse. Poor animals, they start screaming in annoyance. The moment he starts, they also start screaming and creating such a nuisance and noise. The fishes dive deeper and deeper into the lakes in search of peace, such that to avoid his voice, his songs, animals strongly dislike and resent his loud singing from the moment they hear it. That is the wretched brutes, so the wild animals. The wretched animals, so they are not actually wretched, but the wild animals, the stray animals. And they whine and stare with feet in air or wonder. So as if they are totally confused, they whine, they create such puzzled noises, and they stand as if they are not standing on the ground, as if they are not in their own senses. They don't know what's happening to them. So such dazed they become, such affected they are. The very trees collapse and shake. You hear the crash a mile hence, and in the sky the feathered fly turn turtle while they are winging. Massive, enormous, large trees, they collapse, they fall down, they shake, and they come crashing down. and it can be heard far away. So even miles away, the voice of Bhishma can be heard, and it is such a pain that even the trees which are miles away, they also get uprooted. And it even makes the birds in the sky flip upside down in a panic. Birds in the sky flip over by the ear-piercing melody, and all urge him, either directly or indirectly, to stop, thus signifying that our singer is not at all a melodious one. Again we cry, we are going to die, oh won't you stop your singing? But Bhishma's soared beyond our reach, however we plead and grumble. The welkin weeps to hear his screech, and mighty mansions tumble. But now here comes a billy goat, a most sagacious fellow. So he is continuously singing, and he doesn't seem to stop one moment at all, and therefore again and again the listeners request him to stop, as if he doesn't stop, they shall die, they shall face their death. And Bhishma, in his complete obsession, he is lost in his singing in such a way that he is heedless to what is going around in the rest of the world, and his voice is so disruptive that he can't hear the pleas and requests of anyone around, and remains lost in his musical world beyond anyone's control. So no amount of requests, no amount of complaints do any good, and all are just left in vain. And the welkin weeps. So here the screeching singing even makes the sky weep, and the mighty mansions collapse. But then a clever billy goat comes along. He is a very wise animal. Sagacious is wise. Billy goat is just a male goat. He downs his horns and charges straight with bellow answering bellow. The strains of song are tossed and whirled by blast of brutal violence, and Bhishma Lochan grants the world the golden gift of silence. Here, a billy goat then appears in the scene, who is a male goat, and he seems to be the most, or he is claimed to be a very wise fellow, because the thing that he does next, that is, he straightaway aggressively charges at Bhishma Lochan and keeps bleating as loudly as Bhishma is actually bleating. So this is an ironical thing, that a human voice is compared to bleating of a goat, because it was equally harsh and hoarse. And such powerful his bellows and his crash was, that the moment he hits Bhishma, immediately it blasts and tosses around Bhishma's singing strains violently, and he stops singing. And finally, the world is gifted the golden gift of silence, the precious gift of silence once again. Thus, the male goat was able to restore peace in the world, and therefore he is said to be the wise one who had brought solution to the tedious problem that everyone in nature and the human world was facing.